Привіт! Це Ukrainian.house.vienna і сьогодні в нас супер круте інтерв'ю. Зазвичай ми робимо інтерв'ю з українськими зірками чи з українським бізнесом, який живе або приїздить сюди з гастролями. Але сьогодні в нас супер щось новеньке. Сьогодні в нас геніальний Andreas von Schlippe. А чому? Я вам зараз розкажу. Тому що Andreas просто взірвав київську публіку зі своєю виставою «Жінка в чорному». І сьогодні ми з ним поспілкуємось і розкажемо, чому сталося відродження українського театру, про феномен його вистави у Києві і взагалі про майбутнє театру у Європі та в Україні. А ще про його суперкруту презентацію для української ком'юніті. Підписуйтесь на Ukrainian.house.vienna, коментуйте, ставте лайки, нам це дуже потрібно. Andreas!
Добрий день.
Добрий день! Could I call you Andreas, Andrei, or Andrei?
Whatever you like. Some people call me Andrei, Andriy, or Andreas, whichever is suitable for you.
Okay, good. Now we are near Museum Quartier, and I know that around 1 hour you will have here presentation for Ukrainian community about your incredible work, Woman in Black, on the theater on Podil. Podil Theatre. Ви знаєте, театр на Подолі. Я не пам'ятаю, як це просто перекладається от прямо зараз, бо я нервуюся біля генія. Ось так.
But you can also speak Ukrainian. I understand most of it.
Ah, really? Tell me please about today's presentation for Ukrainian community and why it's important for you.
Well, I was just asked if I could just talk about my experience doing this play in Kyiv in the Podil Theatre. So I said yes, fine. I mean, you know, I'm inside a big support of Ukraine, and I regard also that my work as a collaboration, and I think it's important to have a cultural exchange between Ukraine and other European countries, because we all want Ukraine, or I want it personally, to be part of the European community.
Thank you very much.
And I believe and I hope that it's going to happen.
Yes.
And it's happening already.
Oh, yes. I'm thinking it's super important to hear for our especially Ukrainian audience in Ukraine, because now they are fight for only not for peace, but they fight for freedom and to be like a part of European community. Mm-hmm.
So that is so that was why I'm here now, and it was also for me it was good to just collect all my material together and make some kind of overview of my own work, which I did, which was very important for me emotionally and artistically. It was sort of like it was a interesting work and a task, and I you see, it sort of like was so intense that even 10 days after leaving Kyiv, I still dreamt about it. Yeah. Now it's sort of like goes away, but it still was.
So you visited Kyiv in wartime?
Yes, of course. I mean, the first time I was in Kyiv was in 2019, and I did already work as a scenographer, and I did costume and scenography for a play in the Podil Theatre, and then I came back for another play as a scenographer, and then I was asked if I would like to direct something. So that was already in wartime, but I had the experience before in 2000. Well, a year earlier, last January, I did the scenography already in Kyiv, and that felt awkward going to a country which is at war, doing theatre. And I thought, what am I doing? You know, is that the proper thing? But when I arrived there and I saw how many people go to theatre and how it seemed to be important for them, then I thought it's the right thing to do. You know?
I want to ask you now. Everyone knows that now, like in Ukraine, reborn of theatre culture.
За минулий 2023 рік театри України поставили 350 прем'єр. Хоча це вдвічі менше ніж у докарантинному 2019-му, зате на 52% більше ніж протягом першого року повномасштабного вторгнення Росії.
Everyone wants to go to the theatre. it's impossible to buy tickets for in theater now. Why it happens in Ukraine? Because before war, everyone wanted to go, for example, in cinema, I don't know, in club, and theater only
Yes.
for intelligence, and it's all. Why it happens?
Well, I spoke about it with shall we with also the director of the theater, the artistic director, and about other people. And first of all, I think that, and everybody was the same thing. People want their life back. They want some kind of something which is not turning around the war and about the difficulties which the country is facing now. That's one of the reasons. And so, theater and the cultural event is helping them to just forget about the other thing, which is important, and to be in a different world. And of course, what are we fighting for? We are fighting so we keep our culture.
Yes.
It's one of the things we are fighting for. So I think that this is also something which is, I think there's not one answer to the question, but several ones. And then there are some very practical things which people told me. If you go to cinema and you have an alarm, you have to go out and that's it.
Yes.
So in theater, you stop and then they, after a while, they proceed with the show, which actually happened during the general and during the opening of Zinka v Černom. It happened.
Yes?
Yeah, sure, it was.
And how it was? Tell.
It was just like the performance started, and then they said, then the sound
alarm.
No, the alarm. They wasn't in the audience, but it was set. The technician said, "Excuse us, we have to interrupt because we have alarm."
And
so
did
please,
you interrupt?
We had to interrupt, and everybody had to leave the audience.
Okay.
But the theater in Podil has their hall, the entrance hall, is a refugee place, safe place.
Yes.
So everybody went out and everybody had a drink, and we waited until the alarm was over, and then.
How long did you wait?
We were pretty lucky. It wasn't too long. It was about 40 minutes.
Oh, it's good. Only for drinking, for mood.
Sometimes people say it can last also 2 hours.
Yeah.
But and then we just started from the point where we stopped. But of course, it's not really nice for the play. But I mean, but everybody there was no panic. People silently went out, had their time, came back, and enjoyed the show until the end.
Because I'm thinking they used.
They're used to it, yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the sad things. You get used to the alarms, you get used to what happens, but you get used to something which you can't get used to.
Yeah. Yes, of course.
The truth is that everybody in the very depths is, of course, it's a big burden.
But I was in Kyiv 3 weeks ago, and I was so surprised. I visit Kyiv like every 3 months in general because my mommy now living here, and every time I'm super surprised. Kyiv is super alive. Life is going on, everything open, and people try to live and try to visit the theater, try to go in cafe, and they try to continue live. And for them, it's very important to see some support from Europe, like you made with this collaboration, with this culture exchange.
Yes.
And I have a question. Tell me, please, what do you think about our Ukrainian actors? When could you could compare with I don't know, we could compare or not with, for example, with European actors, but it's interesting. Always.
I mean, I'm very fond of the actors, especially in this theater. I can't talk about all actors. I know some of this Podil Theatre, and they're very skillful, and but there's a lot of discussion about the play. I think we discussed it more in Ukraine about the meaning of the play and what it does mean for the characters than we do it in Germany. I think there was more discussion about it, and so people said, well, the actor said, well, we don't understand that. We see it the other way around, and so on. So there was a lot of discussion about it. I don't direct very often. I'm usually doing scenography, which is what I have studied, and I do occasionally I direct. but so I can't speak so much about the difference,
it's so
the work
interesting,
with the actors, because I haven't such a great experience in the West about them. I directed in Finland.
Aha.
Yeah,
And in Ukraine.
And Ukraine and in Germany.
But you're super strong in the scenography and with costumes too.
Well, I do the costumes as well, yes, but scenography, that's what I have studied.
Yes,
It's
yes.
costume and scenography. So I'm of course
That's your superpower.
that is my visual part of
Okay.
it. So I think it's like it gives me a possibility of doing, you know, I can imagine very well during the rehearsals how it's going to look like.
Yes. Aha.
Which I already have in my mind during the rehearsal. I think that this helps. On the other side, of course, if you work with a director, you get another opinion, which is also good. So it's good and a bad side to just do it by yourself.
I was reading in internet, not now, before I prepare it, everything good, that the play Woman in Black was impressed Kyiv audience. Why?
Well,
Why it happened? Because now in Kyiv, a lot of super cool theaters.
Well,
yes.
First of all, I think that it's a play where you could play with tricks.
Okay.
Visual tricks.
Visual.
Which is nothing particular special, but it's tricks which is based on scenographical lighting and video tricks. And so I knew that that was also one of the reasons why I chose it, because I knew that this is something which is not very new, but for Ukraine maybe it's newer than here. I could impress. So I was a little bit, you know, to be honest.
So it's mixed, not only theater, it's like different videos.
Well, it is. I used video in the play, but usually it's usually I'm not. You know, video in plays is difficult. But my approach here was that if I mix the video and put real objects and real people in the video where you can't really tell what's video and what's real and what's not real, that becomes interesting.
Wow,
and I think I found a solution for this particular play to play with this kind of visual effects.
Wow.
And I think that this was very important.
It was your idea?
Yes,
to mix everything in?
Yes, it was my idea, but you know, people have done it before.
Of course,
you know, so it's nothing. But I had a special idea how I could work with it, because we are having two actors and a ghost.
Yeah.
So the ghost must somehow be revealed. In point of fact, the tricks is from Baroque theatre.
Baroque theatre, really?
That's right. That Baroque theatre, but with different technical things.
Explain.
I can explain you, because you know the thing is that when you had ghosts in the Baroque theatre, you had the orchestra pit, which is deep down, and then you had a glass, just like that, transparent glass.
Okay.
So the actor was standing behind the glass, and invisible for the audience was a ghost, but if you lit it, he was projected onto the glass. So the actor on stage could stab the ghost, and that is basically a trick from the Baroque theatre.
Wow.
So I used that principle for this play.
Cool.
But just using, I didn't have an orchestra pit, but I made I don't give away all the tricks, but I used it also with like a glass or mirror, and so I could project and use that. So I use that as a basic. It's Baroque theatre techniques.
Cool. Ви чули? Я не знаю, коли буде наступного разу жінка в чорному в театрі на Подолі, але я думаю, що ви просто маєте піти і подивитися на приколи барокового театру у сьогоденні, у війні в Києві, але це буде щось неймовірне. Do you know when will be the next play?
I don't know exactly. It's now in the repertory.
Yes.
And we have two casts, so I don't know which is sort of like, I was a little bit surprised about the two casts, because I was prepared for one, and then I said, well, we like to have two casts because with all the things unexpected might happen, so we have two casts. I had little time to rehearse with the second cast, but still we have two casts. So I don't know which cast is going to play, but It's in the repertoire, so
Cool.
it's probably. I hope it's gonna play more often.
Who helped you to realize the whole this idea? Do you have your big team who helped you to realize this play?
Well, I mean, you know, we have all the people in the
Yes.
theater.
Yes.
So we have a very
course.
good video department,
Yeah.
Sasha Baratinov.
Yeah.
We have a very good sound engineer
Okay.
who helped me. We have lighting people who are in the theater.
Yes, yes,
and this is a very, and stage technicians, which is a good team.
Yeah.
You know, but they were not part of the preparation. So my friend Bartek Kubiak,
Yes.
who lives in Vienna, who is he has studied film animation, but he works as a light designer and sound designer.
Okay.
So he was I know him for 15 years, and I asked him to help me with the work
Yes.
because not everybody wanted to do that, you know, because it's
So
time.
it
It's
was
time consuming, so everybody is trying, and you know, it's no money in it.
Yeah.
So not everybody wants to do it.
Yes, yes.
But with
so
Bartek,
it was sorry, it was collaboration of Ukraine, Austria, and
Germany. In a way, yes.
Wow. It's super cool.
And Bartek Kubiak, he's
Yes.
he's Polish.
Oh my God!
So you see,
and Poland.
So we have a lot of Europeans,
Yes.
sort of like
Cool.
in different. So
Yes.
it's like a
And
multicultural
Bartek
thing.
was in Kyiv too with
He
you?
came. He came. Yes.
Це дуже відомий саунд-дизайнер, і він займається ще, окрім того, анімацією. І він сьогодні теж буде разом з Андреасом робити цю презентацію цього суперкрутого проєкту. Бартик, hi.
Hello.
I'm very glad to see you.
Nice to
We
meet you.
change this location and everything. But I know that we have only 5 minutes for this interview, so I have the most important question. What means for you participation in this international maybe collaboration in the play Woman in Black?
It means a lot because when I got to know that Andrei will be doing this project, I asked him if I could be involved because I wanted to do something more than just trying to help a little bit. I wanted that my work also is in Kyiv, that my work that I give present to the Ukrainian audience. I wanted that something of me exists over there.
But I know that you visited Kyiv in wartime, in February, and you were staying in Kyiv around 10 days.
Yes.
Tell me, please, your some impression about Kyiv. It was your first time in Kyiv?
It was my first time
And
in
in
Ukraine and
wartime?
first time
Okay.
in Kiev, yes. So it was, I arrived end of March.
Yeah.
And it was, yes, it was very impressive to see that that people were nevertheless trying to live a normal life in those circumstances, and I was very impressed by the strength of many people, of how they faced the situation. Very strong impressions.
Yeah, it's true. Thank you. And let's talk a little bit about the play Woman in Black. And I want to ask you about your work like a sound designer in this play. Tell me, please, a little bit more about it.
So the concept of the play involves a lot of sounds that are played by the technicians. So the actors are communicating with the sound technician, asking him to put at a certain point sounds. So with Andrei, we met in January, and we spoke about the piece, and we discussed where those different sounds will be arriving. So that was the first part, recording the sounds, and I moved back to Vienna. I edited the sounds. We recorded like many squeaking things and little old typewriter,
But you were
things like
working
this.
together with Andrei.
Yes, we spent a few days in Munich and recording everything, and came back to Vienna. I edited, and then I composed some music. There was some ready music, and my music came on top.
Great. And my last question: did you like? Did you have possibility to understand Ukrainian public in theater?
To understand the Ukrainian?
Yes, like to feel Ukrainian audience who visited theater.
Well,
Did you visit the premiere of?
I had, unfortunately,
okay, so
I
just
had
working.
to go back 5 days before because of work.
Okay.
But what I experienced, the audience, the theater was every day full.
Yeah.
And people were very interested to come and support the actors, I think. It's a very strong feeling, the audience in
Did you
the
visit
theater.
another play in theater in Kyiv?
During the rehearsals, there were several performances in the theater, so I could see on the monitor, and I could see the audience, yes.
How everything
But I was, during the premiere, I was in Berlin,
Okay.
In another theater, and the technicians gave me a live stream of the performance, and I was in this big theater in the audience part, and I could watch the live stream. And in the middle of the performance, there was an alert, and so people had to leave. And then they came back after 40 minutes, and the show carried on. So it was a very special moment.
Before this interview, we were speaking with you, and you told me super cool story that you was working like a volunteer at the beginning of the war in Ukraine.
Yes, I was trying to help on the train station, the people who were arriving. And then
in Poland, or
it was here in Vienna.
Here in Vienna, okay.
And at some point, some friends of mine contacted me that there will be an ambulance to be driven to Poland and later to Ukraine. So they asked me if I would have time, and I said, of course. I had a few days, so I did it. I drove an ambulance full of also medical equipment. I drove it to Poland, and 5 days later, it was already on the front.
So that was quite interesting.
You know, now I'm so excited because now I really understand that the Ukrainian theater professionals, they super easy make super cool collaboration under one play, but it's super cool examples that Ukraine is already in European Union.
Absolutely,
you know,
absolutely.
Now I have this feeling, and it's super happiness for me to understand it. And I must say thank you for.
Oh well, it was my pleasure, and I'm hoping to be able to come back and do something else. But you see, I'm not the only one in this theater.
Yeah.
We had Richard Nelson, who is an American playwright and director, who directed already the second play in the Podil Theatre.
Wow!
And he wrote a play especially for the theater.
Cool.
So it was just when I came, I met him. He was just doing the play there, and Richard Nelson is quite a name in the US.
Cool.
So so there's something existing there already.
It's something
so
more big.
Yes.
I'm thinking now Ukraine gives opportunity to another European and maybe world artist to make something new, because it's like new field. I don't know, new energy.
It's very open.
Yeah.
Let's put it that way. It's very open.
So we have in general 5 minutes till
no, we
your
have to, yes.
presentation, and we must
go
just
back.
run.
Yes.
Yes, we have go to back, so we'll run. Зараз тут, в цьому залі, за 5 хвилин розпочнеться презентація найкрутішого проекту колаборації між кількома країнами, який вдалося здійснити в п'єсі «Жінка в чорному» в Києві в театрі на Подолі.
Для українців в Відні проходять майстер-класи німецькою. Це вже, знаєш, такий левел, коли ти розумієш, що люди вже інтегруються.
Так.
І це вже дуже круто, і це не може не радувати. По-друге, я можу сказати, що майстер-клас класний через те, що він передає не тільки знання або інформацію. Ще вся аудиторія і всі українці бачать, а на що звертають увагу іноземці, будучи в Україні. Тобто сьогодні було не тільки про знання і про те, що важливо в постановках, як важливо відіграє роль звук, шуми, дизайн, там, мізансцени і так далі. А сьогодні говорили ще про те, як виглядає дорога в Україну. А як виглядає чайочок в стаканчиках з написом «чай» в нашій Укрзалізниці? Або як звучить повітряна тривога? І що вони роблять при цьому? Да? Тобто ти наче бачиш все те саме, до чого ми звикли, да, вже, як це не було, але очами іноземців.
Так, і це такий, насправді, сьогодні мені здається, що для української аудиторії це був такий собі інспірейшн, що ви можете колабитися, робити якісь колаборейшени, і вам це вдасться. Ми повноцінні, ми колабимося, і ми створюємо дуже класні проекти. І це про те, що іноземці вже в нас зацікавлені.
Абсолютно. І це основна історія, це основний посил, мені здається. А ще через те, що, знаєш, це така... показує цікавість українців взагалі до мистецтва і до того, що основна кількість людей сьогодні в залі – це були діти, які грають вже зараз у виставах. І це вже, знаєш, такий інший левел і наступний крок для розвитку нашого наступного покоління.
Креативності.
Абсолютно. І це не може не радувати.
Круто. Дякую тобі.
Мене звати Анастасія, я також займаюся театром, і тому для мене було дуже цікаво прийти на цей захід, щоб почути також точку зору іноземців, які приїжджають до нашої країни, щоб створювати мистецькі продукти. Для мене, як для українки, це дуже класно чути і бачити, що митці з інших країн зацікавлені в Україні і приїжджають до нас створювати різні продукти, і що відбувається такий культурний обмін, культурна дипломатія, і як це впливає на них і на нас, і як вони привозять потім частинку України за кордон і розповідають про наші реалії, і про повітряні тривоги, і про те, які у нас класні сучасні вистави, і про те, як ми ходимо на концерти, і також ми маємо можливість отримати цей досвід. Дуже цікава фраза, яка мені найбільше запам'яталася, що я створював вистави у Відні, а також створюю зараз в Києві, і мені здається, що більше сенсу є створювати вистави в Україні, аніж за кордоном, тому що люди потребують цього більше, ніж тут. Це для мене був такий інсайт цієї події. І я така, так, мені здається, що це бажання відвідувати культурні події у нас зараз дуже стрімко виросло. І мистецтво допомагає прожити складні періоди нашого життя. І мені здається, це супер важливо і актуально в наш час.
Ну, я дуже рада, що тебе це надихнуло. Я думаю, що, можливо, це дасть тобі якісь нові ідеї, якісь нові думки, як, що, до чого, так?
Так.
Все, дуже дякую.
Дякую вам за подію.